In this video, I am going to discuss how to write a covering letter for research article that is going to be submitted to various standard journals. Covering letter plays very important role as it makes first impression on the editor of the journal. The editor who is going to decide the further fate of the submitted research article. Now, let me tell you that in this video, I'm not going to provide you any kind of sample covering letter, but I am going to give you what are the key factors or the important things you need to keep in mind while writing a covering letter for any research article. So, stay tuned with the video till the end. The first and foremost thing you need to know is to whom the covering letter must be addressed. The covering letter of the research article must always be addressed to the editor of the journal itself. Next is what should be the subject of the covering letter. Now, at this point, I want to make you clear that the subject of the covering letter must be clear and precise. It should be precise and self explaining. So, the covering letter must have the title of the research article. For example, the subject can be written as submission of research article titled whatever may be the title of your manuscript. So, it is very simple and it is self explaining as well. So, keep your subject simple and self explaining. Next is what more you need to provide below the subject. Once you have given the subject, you need to provide the names of all the authors that are associated with the research article. Why? In some journals, there are limitations for amount of authors that should be included in the research article. Now, this will help the editor to decide whether that particular journal should accept the research article for further editorial process or not. So, it is very important that you provide the names of all the authors that are associated with the research article. Next, which important detail you should indicate in your covering letter. This is very important that you indicate or highlight the details of the corresponding author of that particular manuscript. The corresponding author name and the email ID should be highlighted or it can be made bold in the covering letter so that it can be clearly indicated to the editor that this particular person is the corresponding author of that particular manuscript. Sometimes the editor may check the reputation of the corresponding author for deciding the further acceptance of the research article in that particular journal. It may happen. So, the corresponding author should be clearly, the details of the corresponding author should be clearly indicated in the covering letter. Now, this is very important and pay attention. What must be included in the main body of the covering letter? It is very important to convince the editor that whatever the work you are going to submit, it falls under the scope of the journal. Because if it's not falling under the scope of the journal, then the editor may reject the research article. So, at the very beginning, you must indicate that whatever the work you are going to submit, it falls under the scope of the particular journal. Next, describe the originality of your work in bullet points. You must highlight the novel factors in simple, short sentences so that it is very precisely understandable to the editor about the work that you have submitted or you want to submit to that particular journal. Next thing you should mention is the applicability and the diversity of the work that you have submitted or you want to submit to the journal. It is very important that whatever the work you are going to submit, it should have the applications, it should have the application point of view, and it should be accessed by wide, it should have a wide range of applicability to various fields. Next important factor is, now this is very important as far as editor's point of view is concerned. Each and every editor wants a research article that is going to attract more audience or more researchers to the journal. So you must highlight what kind of audiences could be attracted to the particular journal if your research article is going to be accepted for publication or further editorial process. Now this is very important. Next factor is statement of agreement to ethical policy. This is very, very important that the author must clearly mention that whoever may be the authors of that particular manuscript, they follow and they adhere with the ethical policy of the journal. If you are having a conflict of interest, then you should mention the conflict of interest so that a better decision can be made by the editor at that point of time. So in this way, you need to keep these factors or these points in your mind while writing a very good covering letter for a research article. I wish you a very best of luck.